Now, I don't have a lot of female friends. I've always been surrounded by men. But I do have a lot of female family members, and I often speak to ladies online and things like that. And one thing that I've noticed that I've come across over the years is that a lot of us smart older women, and I say us because I think I'm smart too, a lot of us smart older women, we are filled with a lot of self-doubt. You know that moment when you've achieved something amazing and people congratulate you, and instead of saying thank you, your brain immediately goes to, oh, you know what, it was luck. Or anybody could have done it. Or maybe you're in a meeting and you have something valid to say, but you fear that nobody would be interested, or you think that it's a stupid idea and so you don't say anything. Now, this is an example that I use quite a bit because apparently it's a thing that a lot of us ladies, we work it in our job where sometimes it's required that you speak out. You tend not to because you don't feel as if you're valid enough to. Now the question is, why don't you feel valid? Why do you think that what you have to say does not deserve to be heard? But that's another question for another video. Today instead, we're going to be diving in to why is it that a lot of us smart ladies, a lot of us brilliant women, why do we doubt ourselves? So I'll be talking about 8, 9, 10, I'm not quite sure yet, but these different patterns that I've seen in countless smart women, and that's what we'll be talking about today. And some of these you're really not going to want to miss. So if you're interested in this topic, if you yourself are a smart older lady and you tend to doubt yourself, if you are interested in this topic and if you want to know more, then you know what to do. And that is, don't go anywhere. Now let's talk about that complicated relationship that we have with perfection. Now you know what I'm talking about, right? That voice that says, I'll apply for that job when I feel that I'm 100% ready. Or I'll start that project when I'm 100% prepared. Do you know that men apply for jobs when they reach 60% of the requirements needed for that particular job? Whereas us ladies, we wait until we're at 100%. Think about it for a second. We are literally waiting to be perfect before we feel worthy. You know, there are some guys, they don't even have to have a job or a house or a car or anything. But if they see a lovely young lady walking by and they want to say hello and they're interested, they will go up to her, they will take their shot, they will do whatever they have to do. Whereas some of us ladies, we have to get our hair done, we have to lose a couple of pounds, we have to buy a new outfit, we have to be perfect, we have to be 100%. Before we pursue any kind of romantic interest, before we even look at a gentleman. But here's the truth. You do not have to be perfect to be successful. So make sure that it's not an obstacle between you and your dreams. So start embracing that 80% rule. If you are 80% ready, then jump in. And that other 20%, that's where growth happens. And that's where life starts getting interesting. Now this one, I have to be honest, I do recognize myself in this one. And that is that you do something extraordinary at work and everybody's complimenting you and you just play it down like as if it's nothing. Oh, anybody could have done it. Oh, it's no big deal. And I used to do that. And people used to compliment me singing or compliment a song that I wrote. And I'll say, yeah, it's all right, but I think I could have done better. Or, if you listen to it closely, I'm a little bit flat here and there, because deep down, we feel like if we acknowledge our expertise, it sounds like we're showing off. It sounds as if we're bragging. But here's the thing. When we dismiss our experiences, we're not being humble, we're lying. We're lying to ourselves and to every woman out there who's watching us. And what we're actually telling them is that their achievements should be minimized too. Start owning your journey. When someone pays you a compliment, just say thank you. I worked really hard at that. Thank you. Now, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's not arrogance. It's honesty. Now, let's talk about this fascinating thing that our brains can sometimes do. And that is, we could have a whole wall of achievements, yet one teeny tiny mistake can send us into a spiral of self-doubt. Now, I call it achievement amnesia. And believe me, it's a thing. It's real. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, you get it. You could nail 99 things in a day, do everything perfectly. But that one little slip up, it will keep you up at night. You can't sleep. It will be going over and over in your head. How could you have done it? Why did you do it? What happened? It's crazy. And all the 99 things that you did perfectly, who cares? It's like you've forgotten all about those. Only the mistake you remember. You know what? What you could do, and maybe what you should do if you tend to be like that, is to write down every achievement that you've accomplished, every single one. And the next time that something happens, that doubt kicks in, then you have actual living proof of just how good you are, because your achievements, they're not accidents. You didn't just happen to achieve that. They're not flukes. They're just proof of your competence. Now, this one lets me laugh a little bit, to tell you the truth, because it's such a thing. And that is that we might have years and years and years of experience behind us, yet somehow we think that at the end of the day, we don't know everything. We actually doubt our own experience. Yet there's somebody coming up behind us that probably have been doing the same thing for 6 months. And they're walking around with their chest out because they think that they are experts. So how come they can embrace it, but we can't? There's a difference in being an expert. There's a difference in experience. There's a difference with somebody who's good at what they do. The amount of times that I've been in a studio and I've seen musicians come and go, and I've seen singers come and go. And the amount of times that I've seen singers come in there who've probably been singing for a year or two, and they're very good, very, very good. But according to them, they are experts. And according to them, they are at the top of their game. And they come into the studio and they stand in front of the mic. The song begins to play. And for some reason, they can't get what they're supposed to do. They cannot hit the notes, or they cannot sing what they're supposed to. And they start getting flustered, and they start getting angry, and they start getting annoyed with themselves. And I think in my mind, that's the difference between experience and just being good at what you do. Because there's no doubt that these singers can sing. They're good at it, but they don't have the experience. They just don't know how to work in a certain environment and under a certain pressure. And that is something that you learn over time, over months, over years, over decades. And that's the difference. That's called experience. That's called expertise. And it doesn't matter what line of work it's in. You'll always find those that are good at what they're doing, but when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, when it gets down to the punch, those with the expertise, they know how to deal with certain difficulties, and they know the wiggle room that they can move in to get out of it. So when you're good at something, when you have experience, when you have the expertise, when you know what you're doing, don't play it down. Let it out, let it shine. But remember though, that expertise isn't about knowing everything. You don't have to know everything to be an expert, but it's about knowing enough to make a difference. Your knowledge, even with its gaps, has value. So own it. Now this is a game changer that helped me understand why we sometimes doubt ourselves. We are the generation caught between two worlds. And what do I mean by that? We were raised with traditional expectations, but living in a time of unlimited possibilities. Our mothers might have told us to be independent, but not too ambitious. To be successful, but not too successful that you scare people off. They may have told us to shine, but not too brightly. I mean, no wonder we're confused. So understanding this helped me realize that every now and again when self-doubt may kick in, it's not something personal, it's generational. And recognizing that is the first step to breaking the cycle. Here's something that I find interesting, and that is a lot of us, when it comes to supporting others, we are behind them 100%. We are amazing. But when it comes to needing support for ourselves, we're not going to ask for it. Nope. That would mean that we're not capable, that we're not able. Somewhere along the line, we've learned that needing support means that we're not strong enough. But here's the thing though. Strength isn't about doing it all alone. True strength is knowing when to lean on others. Now let's talk about the fear of standing out and of being too much. You know that feeling when you want to share something, you want to share about an achievement that you've accomplished, but you kind of hold back because you don't want to seem as if you're showing off, as if you're flexing. It's not really just a fear, it's something that we've kind of inherited from generations of women who have told us to stay small. I see this happening around me all the time. Brilliant women dimming their light because they don't want to outshine somebody else. But the truth is that your success does not diminish somebody else's light. In fact, let's be honest, when you shine, you give permission to others to shine too. And this is another one that unfortunately I've seen happen around, and I may even have been a little bit guilty of doing every now and again myself. And that is dismissing our life experience as just getting old, instead of recognizing it as valuable wisdom. Now, society might value youth, but every one of your experiences, that's your wisdom. Every one of those life experiences, they're not baggage. They're your wisdom and they're your power. That's your own unique advantage. So please stop apologizing for your experience. Stop apologizing for your wisdom. Stop apologizing for the fact that you're older. Your journey has given you insights that no course, no degree, and no shortcut can provide. Your self-doubt isn't a character flaw. It's a learned response. And what's learned can be unlearned. Your intelligence isn't something to apologize for. Your experience isn't something to minimize. And your wisdom isn't something to doubt. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was great seeing you. It always is. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. But until then, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao.